prophets. This is part and parcel of the program, right? And so I just took it, you know, and most of the people that I started admiring, like when I was young, I was admiring the Dr. J's, but when I became a Muslim, I was reading more than I ever read before in my life. One of the things I used to do after practice, there was a bookstore in Denver on Colfax Street. Colfax Street is one of those streets you can see almost anything you want to see. But he had a bookstore called Salam Books, Muslim brother. And in the bookstore, he had books on Islam, books on comparative religion, books on, what people would classify as conspiracy theories, books, Hold the Pale Horse, Unseen, and I'm buying everything I can get my hands on. And I'm reading, so I'm coming across stuff I never, like what's happening in the world, right? How the system is constructed. And I'm reading the stories of the prophets and the imams, the positions that they took. And I began to admire that way more than a person shooting a jump shot. And I'm like, if I want to be in the footsteps of these people, I got to, like if you want to be great at anything, you got to practice. So I started practice having dialogue. I started practicing throwing ideas out, see how they would feel about it. And there's a lot of discomfort in that because some people are like, man, you're crazy about it. But I had to keep coming. I had to sit with that discomfort. It didn't kill me, right? And I had to be patient. And sometimes people circle back. As Brother Hassanain was saying, they say, hey man, I thought about what you said, right? And so all of those things, I said, man, what do you want your life to say for itself?
Notice how he's triggering thought in people around him, right? This is what all of us should be doing.
Yeah, so I'm like, look, what do you want? And we know that this life is transient. And Allah says, I didn't create men and jinn but to conform to me. And I'm constantly having, like I did a lot of self-talk trying to become great at basketball. I got to do a lot of self-talk. Like, who are you? What you standing for? You a coward? You did? I'm always checking myself. I'm always having self-talk with myself. So being in those relationships, those conversations, the books and the information I was getting, and just consuming that day in and day out. That's why I don't know if Brother Hassanain said it, Sharara said it, years and years ago, they were talking about if you, they didn't use this verse, but they've done studies that if you're out of shape, hang around people in shape. Yeah. If you're not smart, right? Yeah. Because there's a language, there's a lifestyle, it eventually rubs off. Well, I'm thinking about what Allah says, be in the company of the righteous. Don't take as your baton, your inner clique, people that don't, right? Because the more you're around certain people, the more you consuming certain things, it eventually will affect you. It'll start influencing you. So I started to pay attention and started to focus on what I wanted to become. So I'm reading those types of material. I'm talking to those types of people. Like now, I turn on YouTube and I look at those types of conversations. So the things that influenced me in basketball, and I was zoned in on those things, well, the same can happen if I'm trying to be better in my Islam. Hone in on those things too. So for me, it was an easy, you knew the repercussions because history tells you when people do these type of things, from prophets, imams, the Muhammad Ali's, you name it, this is what's going to happen. But I had to ask myself, what's more important to you? The truth, right? Or living a lie? And so the truth means more to me than anything. And so if I want to be in these footsteps, and so that among so many other things influenced the decision.
And remember, the flag incidents, you have to take into consideration the reality that drove him there. Two things that I've observed in his conversation. Number one is the egregious injustice, right, that is being meted out in this country. When Muhammad Ali was told to go to Vietnam, he said, they haven't killed me, they haven't given me bad names, they did not enslave me, why should I go kill them? I'm not going, I'm a conscientious objector and I'll go to prison. Right? But he saw the atrocities of this country and they lived this, okay? So those of us who have problems in life, use that problem as a means to drive yourself forward. Now, when you look at him and he's on Colfax Street in Denver, going to read books, it's because he knows there's a disease all around him. He needs to get out of this rut, and he needs to fly high. But if you and I don't feel the urgency of the problem, we're not going to have this drive. Okay, me, when I saw the urgency of our young generations getting lost and potentially, not having anything to be driven by with vision, the urgency was we needed to do this project. Okay, if there was no urgency, maybe it would have taken longer time. So his zeal of two qualities. One, he saw the negativity and the urgency, which there was a lot of glitter on one side, but he saw this incredible evil standing in front of him. And he said, I have that power now where I can slap it. Just like Muhammad Ali. Well, Muhammad Ali did it very, very geniusly. The way he slapped them, and then to die with that kind of dignity while he's in the peak of Hollywood and all the glitz and glamour, and he's just slapping them. And I remember, we landed in New Jersey at Newark International Airport. We were like on the other side of the terminal, and his entourage was on one side. He saw my mother and my sister with hijab. He left the whole entourage. He walked himself all the way to my mother and my sister and said, Salam alaikum. Okay, he said, Salam alaikum to my sister and my mother. And he says, I'm really happy to see you, my Muslim sisters. Then he walked back. That's a man of vision. He's not drunk by power. Right? So I think his answer is really profound from that perspective. But he said, I saw this great personalities like Imam Husain stand up against injustice. How else am I going to get out of this rut if I don't follow such personalities? So read. Did you notice how much reading he does? How many of you read a lot of books?